we go back to the Waterloo. I mean, you were saying on the day that you were sort of, I think your words were scrambling through, and you weren't happy with your form.
No, I mean, the way it went, apart from the Saturday where I was lucky to get through, in the other games, I got well in front in both games, and then had a really, a real dodgy spell, in every game. But I mean, I think, having watched it on the video now, I felt I'd played very, very average, but I didn't actually play that bad. I sent a few bad bowls, but I mean, who doesn't? But generally speaking, from what I could see from the last day onwards, I did play reasonably consistent. Obviously, had a bit of luck, but you don't win anything unless you have a bit of luck here. So,
I think sometimes if you're scrambling through, it can actually work to your advantage, Gary, can't it? Because if you bang on form, sometimes it's easy just to perhaps relax and be a bit overconfident. But if you're struggling, I think your concentration levels are perhaps a little bit higher, aren't they?
I think the other thing as well is that if you are struggling, you tend to be going round the green more and you're playing different marks, and you might make one or two mistakes, but you remember the mistakes you've made in the next game if someone's got you on a similar mark. Whereas interestingly, I played in the Champion of Champions a week after. I think I won 21-3 or 21-4 first game. Only played one mark, not been round the green. Then next game I lost. So sometimes that can work against you.
I mean, your quarter-final was sort of arguably the game of the day. We watched it today. We've watched the tape of it against Callum. I mean, you were 15-5 up, and he come back to 18. But looking at it, it was on the screen today. It was a hell of a good game, that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's unlucky, Callum. To be honest, I mean, he's come back really well, and then it was a tremendous bowl I played last end, but it's a bowl you'll play, 1 in 500 or 1 in 1,000. It was the only bowl I could play to try and play a dead in under the circumstances at 2018. And, luckily for me, the one time in 500 that you'll probably do it, I've done it.
Somebody says for you it's 1 in a million, Gaz, isn't it?
Sorry?
Somebody says it's for you, it's 1 in a million.
I think that's probably right, actually. That's probably right, yeah. Who said that, Mike Holden?
I'm not saying.
Oh, right, okay.
Top secret. Then the semi-final, you played your best mate, didn't you?
Yeah, I played Jimmy. I mean, it was an interesting position in the semi-final because I didn't publicise this, but I'd had 40 quid on Jimmy to win it at 25 to 1. So I was in a nice position, but I just played it, like any other game really. It didn't even enter into my head, but I did fancy Jimmy to do well. From the start, he's had a really good season. He's played better than me for most of the season. But I think in the end, just a bit of the odd bit of luck and a bit of green knowledge just got me clear against him in the second half of the game, really.
Yeah, I think mentioning there Jimmy Darby, I think his quarter-final performance against Chris Morgie was probably the best bowling of the day for consistent length, wasn't it?
Yeah, he played. I won't say that he played the hardest mark. He played a reasonably simple mark, but if you play simple marks, pretty straight mark, but he put them there, didn't he?
Yeah.
And as I say, he's at that sort of 30-35 yards. He's very, very accurate and very consistent.
It's not easy always playing a team, mate, is it?
It don't bother me, Mel, to be honest. It really doesn't. It's play it like any other game. You're looking to do your best, you're looking to win, and that's it. It doesn't bother me one way or the other, really, to be honest.
Then the final.
You've just got to watch out if Derby gets hold of the pegs.
Oh, right.
That's when you've got to watch carefully.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I don't think we let him loose with the measures that day, didn't we?
No. I thought he was going to take them off the ref one end when they were measuring me in, and have a go himself. But anyway, he didn't do.
Yeah, somebody just put a question on it, just interfering a little bit here, but somebody just said, does that mean there's now Melissa Herbert? Well, sadly, Melissa can't join us tonight. We had a message earlier, something's cropped up and she couldn't join us, but we'll have her back on another show. I guess now probably everybody's now going to switch the radios off now because we're stuck with Ellis. There seems to be a lot of people wanting to listen to Melissa rather than you tonight, I think, Gary. Yeah. Can't understand why.
Listeners here, it says it's just gone down to 4. Not to worry.
You're not as good looking as Melissa, unfortunately.
No, not quite, no.
But then again, not most women aren't, so no mind.
Somebody on this gay and lesbian line that Lynn found actually thought you were Gary, so...
No, it's all right. If you ask for me, we'll take a message.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Okay. Anyway, we're scratching our way through. We got to the final now. With Lee Eaton, past winner, who'd put GI out. It was always going to be a tough game, wasn't it? Because he's a bit of a specialist on the Waterloo.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that Lee did, probably played as well as anybody. And if you look at who he'd beat, I mean, the ones I can remember, I think he beat Glenn Cooks and John Bailey and then Graham Wilson. Were three guys with a lot of form on the green, and and I did feel, I mean, it was an interesting final in a way, because I didn't feel that I thought he played his worst game of the week, luckily for me, but also, he played through, I think, about 4 times when I had 2 and counted 2, and if that happens in a game, you don't normally win, but it probably shows you how indifferently he played apart from that. He gave me, luckily for me, he gave me plenty of room with his leads, more often than not, and, luckily for me, I stepped in, so.
Yeah. Do you think it makes a difference whether you're playing first semi-final or second semi-final, Gary?
I must say a couple of things, actually, about that. I mean, I did feel this year that I'd just come off and I was going back on again after the second semi-final, and it didn't bother me, and I'm not sure how much time there was between the 2 games, but I suspect it was only, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And, my own sort of personal view, that's probably not long enough. I think you probably want, if you win a Waterloo semi-final, I think you probably want half an hour, really, to get that game out of your mind, clear your mind and get yourself ready. The other thing only one other thing bothered me on the day, and nothing bothers me normally around the bowling green, but, one other thing bothered me on the day and actually put me off was when I was 2014 up and everybody got up and started walking out.
Yeah.
And I actually sent a really bad lead, and I thought that I've just lost concentration here, and I don't know what we can do about that.
But that's why they all walked out, Gary.
Well, sorry, Mel. What?
That's why they all walked out. They saw that lead and thought, "I've had enough of this. We'll go down and get a pint."
Yeah, and I was thinking actually, I was going to have a word with Jimmy whether me or somebody could put something in the programme next year, just saying, look, please don't do this. Please stay till the end of the game.
Yeah, seriously though, guys, when we were commentating, I mean, it's one thing I commented on, it is a big distraction, and however much you don't hear or see things around the green, and you've got tunnel vision, when you do see people up and move, it is a distraction, and at such a crucial time in a game and in such a big competition, it's not really fair on the players, is it really?
No, as I say, I mean, there may be nothing that you can do about it,
No.
and I know that it's been a problem for years, it's not just happened, but it's the first time that I've noticed it this year where I thought, bloody hell, it's put me off that. And I just wonder whether, most people that are there, I think, buy a programme. I just wonder whether, sticking something in the programme next year to say, look, please don't do this, might make a few people think about it. I don't know, maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a couple of comments just on. I mean, Jim's actually listening to this, Gary, and he said he's tried his utmost to try to stop.
I know he has.
Yeah. Mike Alden said to Jim, just shoot one of them, the rest will sit down. I might be going a little bit over the top, but I suppose that's what you expect from Mike, I guess, that sort of comment. It might work, actually.
Just trying to do something that just makes people think about it, to say, look, this is very, very important for whoever's on the green, and if somebody's 2016 up, they don't want to see people walking out, and then obviously people start booing then, and telling them to sit down. It's just a distraction that you don't need, frankly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, also when we was in the commentary, I commented that the first game of the day is similar as well. People are coming in if your first game on at 10 o'clock in the morning, and people are gathered round the bookies and finding the seats and going and getting a burger or a cup of tea and everything. That's also a similar situation when people are actually coming in, isn't it?
It is, but there's not a lot you can do about that, Mel. People, if it's 10 o'clock start, you will get people turning up at 10 o'clock, 5 past, 10 past 10, but, that's different than people just walking out at, 2014 or whatever. I don't think there's much you can do about the early stuff, really.
No, you can't.